Tom, we've heard from many people about this project. Haven't heard yet from you, but briefly, what's your vision for this project? The first part of this Masse Gateway.
And that's really all we're talking about here. I mean, this is part of really what would like to be a 10-year redevelopment of the entire campus. But again, this first phase is really key to it because it's really about opening up the access to the center of a very large complex and creating some kinds of space that we don't have available in the market today. So we think it's very important from those points of view.
Tom, can you describe briefly what would be done in this first phase if it all gets funded the way you hope it will?
Yes, sir. Which again, I hope everybody understands is by no means certain because the history of Restore New York is they tend to cut these things back. But again, if we were successful in being able to do the project as proposed, there would be a demolition of around 40,000 square feet of buildings, most of that right at the end of Masse. What that would do is really open up the faces of 4 different buildings, which would then, I think there'd be enough money to at least start the redevelopment of those. And what that would do is put us in a position where we could market the space for these new uses so that then as tenants come in, we could do the tenant fit out based on what the market brings us for tenants. So it's really key to be able to start this, to do that demolition and that starting piece.
Tom, how would you gauge the market for this? I mean, economically, I think people would think, well, maybe this isn't the greatest time to be trying to fill empty industrial space, but what is your hope for that? I mean, how much interest do you think there'll be in that space?
Well, the thing you got to remember is, I mean, we're in the business and we're celebrating our 50-year anniversary of creating jobs by working with small businesses at the Batavia Industrial Center. And what we see is that, we're busy in both ends of the market. When things are really good, people are starting businesses because they're optimistic and they're positive and they're not scared. When things are scary, like they are now, you see people starting businesses from the other point of view. They had a good job, they thought they had a good idea, but they didn't want to take the chance. They get displaced or things happen to them. It leads them to maybe take these chances or start these businesses they wouldn't have started otherwise. We're actually way more important in those times because their risk is so high. And one of the things we do for small business people is we lower the risk bar by being flexible with space, by offering services, shared services, conference rooms, and all the things we do. We hook them up with resources like the colleges or financing sources or training or things like that. That all said, our activity's really been steady right through this. If you were to talk to the big commercial brokers, they're going to tell you that activity's down. People looking for 100,000 square feet, 150,000 square feet. Not a lot of that going on. We're as busy as ever. But one of the problems is that as the economy has changed and the types of jobs that want to be created have changed, you need different kind of space. And 120-year-old industrial space isn't what's going to serve the need. And what's happened is in the past couple of years, we've lost opportunities because people have come. They would be interested in that location, having space renovated for them in that location, but they can't wait. And so what's happened is they haven't even located in the community. We've lost opportunities in Batavia and Genesee County because we haven't had the ability to work on that space.
So Tom, you obviously feel that if you build it, they will come.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's the nature of the market. This isn't a high velocity market. Things take time. But no question, our history, not only here over 50 years, but in all the other communities we've worked in with old buildings and small business, we've always filled them. It's just a matter of time. And the need is there really now more than ever.
I wanted to ask you, I know we talked earlier and had a chance to read the comments, but I wanted to ask you to address a couple of common themes that are coming up in the comments about this. And one of the primary ones is an objection to using taxpayer money, no matter what the source, whether it's Restore New York, or any thing, to help a private businessman.
That's a perspective that some people hold. And what I know from my experience, because we work with other communities and we work on other projects, and the Mancuso Business Development Group is working in 2 other communities in upstate New York with projects that were funded by Restore New York funds. Each of those projects is going very well, creating jobs, renovating buildings, and housing new businesses because this money was available from Restore New York. So the money's going to go someplace. If people have an objection to it and they don't want it here, they should express that, and council should vote accordingly if they think that's what's in the best interest of the whole community. It's been the judgment in other communities that it's such a plus to the community to do projects to reduce blight and to increase jobs, that it's very much in the best interest of the community, and they see it, growing their economy and filling an important role.
Okay, I'm done.
One other thing along those lines, 2 of the city councilmen have said that they attempted to ask whether local contractors would be used on any of this work. Are you in a position to be able to answer that now, Tom? And if so, what is the answer to that?
Well, the quick answer is, we won't know till we get final pricing who's going to do the work. But our history is that we always work with local contractors first. It's one of the things we do when we go to other communities, and in Geneva or Auburn or Lockport, the first thing we do is try to develop relationships with the local contractors and the local resources, because these projects want to be local, and they work best if it's very much a local project. The local folks know the codes, they know the buildings, they know the other contractors to go get to do things. And I think anybody who knows this, and anybody who knows the 50-year history, knows we have long-standing deep relationships with local plumbers and electricians and roofers. Hey, at the end of the day, you look for the best price, but our history has been that's way more often than not, a local guy. And I would tell you, at least, again, all the particular components are priced out, but for the ones that are, we have at least 1 or 2 local prices for every one. So very, very hopeful that it's very much about local contractors.
Okay.